Alright, let's dive into some of the biggest sports media stories making waves right now, because honestly, there's a lot to unpack here. And I'll be honest, some of these moves feel like they're reshaping the entire landscape of how we consume sports. Let's start with Disney+, because what they're doing with college football is, in my opinion, a game changer, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. So, Disney+ is adding more college football simulcasts this season, right? On the surface, it seems like a straightforward play to boost engagement. But here's what's really interesting, they're positioning this as a way to upsell their bundle with Hulu and ESPN+. Personally, I think this is Disney's way of saying, hey, we're not just a kid streaming service anymore. What many people don't realize is that live sports are becoming the new battleground for streaming platforms. Netflix tried to get into the game with the USC-Notre Dame rivalry, which, by the way, is finally coming back in 2030, more on that later. But Disney is taking it a step further by making these games accessible without an ESPN subscription. If you take a step back and think about it, this is Disney trying to create a sports ecosystem that keeps fans locked into their platforms. It's not just about viewership, it's about lifetime value, as their CEO Josh D'Amaro put it. And that's a strategy one finds fascinating. Now, let's pivot to LIV Golf, because this story is just wild. They've secured new funding to keep the league alive through 2030, which is huge considering the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund pulled their support. But here's the kicker, the players are becoming majority equity holders. In my opinion, this is a massive shift in how sports leagues operate. What this really suggests is that LIV Golf is trying to redefine the relationship between athletes and ownership. It's a bold move, and one that could set a precedent for other leagues. But here's the thing, it's also a risky bet. LIV Golf has been controversial from the start, and while this new funding gives them stability, it doesn't solve their image problem. Personally, I'm curious to see if this model works long-term, or if it's just a temporary band-aid. Switching gears to ESPN, they've announced a bunch of changes to their college football broadcasting teams, and honestly, it feels like they're trying to freshen things up. Mike Monaco, Jordan Rogers, and Dana Boyle are taking over Friday night games, while Matt Berry and Chase Daniel are handling Thursdays. What makes this really interesting is the shuffle of roles behind the scenes. Alyssa Lang is moving into the studio, Katie George is stepping into Molly McGrath's old role, and Chris Button is taking over for George. It's like ESPN is playing a game of musical chairs, but with a purpose. In my opinion, this is about keeping their talent engaged and giving viewers new voices to connect with. But here's the broader perspective, with Disney+ expanding into sports, ESPN needs to stay relevant. These changes feel like a way to keep their broadcasting teams competitive in a rapidly evolving market. Now, let's talk about FIFA for a second, because the drama there is just, chef's kiss. Gianni Infantino is still in the hot seat after that privatization fiasco, but he's got the full support of FIFA executives. Personally, I think this is a classic case of damage control. FIFA backed down from the plan, but the fact that they even considered privatizing the World Cup is mind-boggling. What many people don't realize is that this isn't just about money, it's about control. FIFA wants to maintain its grip on the most valuable asset in sports, and this whole situation raises a deeper question: how much power should one organization have over a global event? It's a conversation we need to keep having. Lastly, a quick shout-out to Dick Vitale, who's battling cancer for the 5th time. His recent update that immunotherapy is working is incredible news. If you take a step back and think about it, Vitale's resilience is a reminder of why sports matter. They're about more than just wins and losses. They're about the people who make them special. So, here's my closing thought: the sports media landscape is changing faster than ever, and these stories are all connected. Disney+ is betting on live sports to drive engagement, LIV Golf is redefining ownership, ESPN is reshuffling its talent, and FIFA is fighting to maintain control. What this really suggests is that we're in the middle of a revolution in how sports are consumed, produced, and owned. And personally, I can't wait to see where it all goes from here. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below,